Okay, so what I've done so far is I've taken my roughed out forend, trimmed it down to about 50 to 60 thousandths oversized, so 3.06, 3.05. Actually, from end to end, it mics out at 3 inches 053 to 3 inches 058, so 5 thousandths of an inch deviation in the cut on a bandsaw. I'll take that any day. Had to find the center of the stock, obviously, which was at this point here, one of the gray laminations. And then also find the center of my piece, which I did and marked, and then I set it on here about centered. I don't know if you can see up in there, but did the same thing here. We're centered at this point here. Now what I need to find, I want to have an idea of what my cut's going to look like here. So I clamped it on there, all pretty well lined up, not final alignment. And then what I'll do is I'll take this aluminum bar, which is relatively straight enough for this, that's for sure. Lay it on here. Now I know that this point is true to the top rail. So that'll give me my line to lay out my piece. So we'll set that there. And then what I'm going to do is take a pen, and I want to mark this. That's not necessarily my cut line, but that gives me my layout. So that's how much taper there is, or is, on this front. Now what I'll do is I'll bring this up enough that I'm going to end up with a bottom here that I'll end up with a bottom, say, about a 1/4 inch above that line. And that bottom is going to be parallel to the barrel center, but also in this direction, the sides of the forend will be parallel to the barrel channel and to the barrel center line. That way when you set it in your front rest, it'll stay centered and everything will be in alignment all the way from the front here all the way back to the back here. Now this still needs to be profiled, but I can handle that later. So with this all set up and this laid out, now all I need to figure out is how much above this line I want to be, if much at all. And it's probably not going to be much because I don't want to get too tall with this. So the next thing to do is to trim this about true. It doesn't have to be perfect. And then lay it out so I can dowel it and set it in there where it needs to be. And then we'll proceed from there. So right now it's just clamped on here so I can get a visual of where I'm at with. Obviously it's not going to be this long. It will be trimmed off down here. And then I'll figure out how I want to blend this and everything so it looks halfway decent. Looks like it belongs. Laminations obviously don't line up perfectly because this isn't the same blank this was. And none of these birch lambs are going to be exactly the same. So what you want to do is you want to try and be pretty close out here. And once we get up to the outside here, it's not off all that much. You know, we're purple to purple here and so forth. A lot of these laminations aren't real. They're not exactly the same size. But in the scheme of things, when it's all blended, curves cut into it and so forth, it'll look pretty good. So anyway, that's where we're at with it now.